Is it me, or does it feel increasingly difficult to have genuine, open minded, and open conversations across a lot of different topics? You see, the trouble that I think we're having today in the world is a lot of people are struggling to accept and understand the opinions of people whose beliefs oppose theirs, right? I, as someone who makes videos and as someone who likes to hear the opinions of different people, loves hearing the opinions of different people all the time. I have people in the comment section, people in real life who have strong opinions. And I think when you have strong opinions, people are easy to oppose them or quick to oppose them. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't like that. And I say unfortunately because here's the thing, right? You can believe the opposite of everything that I believe, right? And if I really believe it, my beliefs do not necessarily change. My conviction does not change based on what you think. Because I think what I think based on what I've seen, and you think what you think based on what you've seen and experienced. That's fine. But that's how a level headed conversation goes. If we have different opinions, whether it's here on YouTube or whether it is in real life, we can have discussions and conversations. It feels like less and less of the population either can or are comfortable doing that today. It feels like more and more people are only willing to have it their way or not hear it, right? People will not hear it, people will avoid it, people will not listen if it does not match their opinion or their agenda. Now, like I say, if you genuinely believe in what you think, you can do one of two things. You can either listen to the other person's opinion and not care, because again, you're convicted in your belief, or you can make a argument, and I don't mean an argument in like an aggressive sort of way, but we can have a debate, right? We can have a debate. If I believe one thing, you believe one thing, and we genuinely both believe in it and know it, we can have a debate on this thing. But increasingly, people are not willing to do that. And I do think it is a problem. I do think it is a large problem, and I think it's not a good thing for us generally. You see, when we're not willing to accept the opinions of others, we're not going to be living in a world, or we're not living in a world that is accepting of everybody. Because, some people's opinions on some matters are, I believe, undeniably wrong, right? And I know some people might say, well, that shows that you don't believe in what you're saying. Look, there's certain things that I disagree with. There's certain things I don't think are good for society, right? I don't want to go into certain topics, but anything that is like of causing violence to other people unnecessarily, etc., I don't think that's a good thing. But generally speaking, on mild topics like politics and opinions and beliefs, people are less willing to have these chats. And we have an environment now where people are, in some markets, afraid to have these chats. People are not having the conversations that we need to have. We do need to have chats about our feelings and our thoughts and our beliefs, and we do need to be able to have them openly. Number one, for education. I might think one thing as an opinion, I might be educated otherwise when I get told a different opinion with some context or some experience to back it up. That's how I learn a lot of stuff in life. We are able to understand the beliefs of others when we listen to opinions and have debates. We are able to create an image of our environment, our people, our society more clearly, right? If everybody has their say. But increasingly, it's like people tie themselves to an ideology, whatever it may be, and they're unwilling to separate from it at all costs. If you believe in the concept of, I don't know, maybe you're liberal or maybe you're conservative, increasingly people are less willing to have debates with each other, right? And we're forgetting what a genuine, decent, civilized debate looks like. And that's worrying. I think most people can agree that democracy is a good thing. It's a thing that allows people to say, to an extent, what they want. Again, generally, as long as stuff doesn't cause harm to others. I think that's what democracy looks like, right? You can have an opinion completely different to mine. I can have an opinion completely different to yours. We can vote for different people. We can think different things. But the beauty of it then is that we can all live together in a world where we're not necessarily judged too heavily based on what we think. But more and more, that's not the case, right? Again, people just go for an ideology, believe in nothing else. They won't hear anything else. They won't. And when you close your mind off to different opinions, different beliefs, different understandings, you lose a lot of understanding. You lose a lot of knowledge. You lose a lot of connection in a way. And on something as mild as opinions, especially when it comes to things like politics, etc., this is such a small part of the world, it's such a small part of society, that people are really limiting themselves from meeting people who they could like, who they could enjoy spending time with, who they could be happy around because of political beliefs and ideologies, because of lots of different factors. And that brings me on to the topic of democracy. Because, again, to understand why democracy is great and what democracy is, we need to understand what it looks like. And in today's society, it's like we're losing that ability. And when we lose that ability, we have a world where people are scared to share their opinions sometimes. We have a world where people are not willing to interact with people based on beliefs and views. And I know people might say this is a small thing, it's not a large problem. Maybe it's not. But it does seem to be increasingly a thing, right? When we have a world like that, we almost don't have democracy. Because in my eyes, democracy is the ability to have difference. It's the ability to have thoughts and opinions that are not the same as our peers. In today's world, certain beliefs and opinions in certain environments are looked down upon, to the point where people do not want to share them, to the point where people are not open and willing to have a conversation around certain topics. And that leads to an environment where people do not say what they really want to, do not display their true thoughts and feelings on things. And this is the thing, right? When we have these debates about things, and when we're not tied to an idea, a lot of the time our minds are opened. A lot of the time we understand and hear different things to what we would have initially expected. I think for people to actually appreciate the beauty of having a different opinion, or the ability to have a different opinion, we need to understand what the world would look like if we didn't. If we just had your opinion or my opinion, the world wouldn't be very fun. The world would be very predictable. It wouldn't be very... The human experience would be limited. It wouldn't be what it is now. But yet, a lot of people just feel comfortable living in an echo chamber. And an echo chamber of repeated beliefs of what you want. And again, whether it's liberal, conservatives, right wing, left wing, whatever, I don't even care. When we don't hear the opinions of others, we fail to grow. We fail to embrace the world for what it really is. When we follow just what we want, we don't understand the real world. We're living in a fake world. We're living in a world that is not a true representation of society. It's not a true representation of our area. It's not a true representation of our population, right? And so many people are not willing to have these debates anymore. This one's less a video of me giving a point or explanation. It's just me displaying my thoughts, right? A lot of these videos tonight, I'm just giving my thoughts. Why are people so unwilling to have democratic chats anymore? Open-minded chats? I think people get too comfortable in just believing one thing forever. And again, a lot of the time, opinions are just that. They're not facts, they're opinions. They are what we believe and what we want to see from the world, rather than the actual truth. Am I wrong? Am I right? And is this just a trend that I have noticed? Again, I like hearing you guys' different opinions. But is it now increasingly the case that people seem to be unwilling to hear and take the opinions of others without just leaving or just completely laughing them off or whatever, It's a worrying environment if that is the case. And I think from at least what I'm seeing, it's something that I have noticed. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments.